Almost everyone is somehow afraid of something. It could be spiders, snakes, darkness, ghosts, closed spaces, open spaces, but it turns out that there are fears much more bizarre than these. You can find some of them funny, although you should feel sorrow for those who suffer from them. So, here are the 10 weirdest phobias you can have. Let's get it on. Trypophobia is an irrational fear of irregular patterns or clusters of small holes or bumps, such things as little holes in a watering can, or a bunch of pimples or acne, or the bubbles in foam in a cup of coffee. All this could scare the shit out of poor trypophobics. Nowadays, scientists think that trypophobia is inscribed in our genetic memory and as a kind of atavism, an evolutionary throwback. It's a relic from ancient times when prehistoric people lived in the wild, interacting with different floral and faunal forms with clusters of holes on their bodies. These people learned that these creatures could be predaceous, poisonous, or simply aggressive, meaning danger for humans. Phobophobia, fear of phobias. Yes, that can happen as well. As you already guessed, phobophobia is a fear of getting a phobia. Irrational fear of getting an irrational fear is an irrational fear by itself. Therefore, people suffering from irrational fear of getting irrational fear have to live every day realizing that irrational fear. Feel confused? And what do you think? How do these poor fellows live? Chorophobia, fear of dancing. Dance is not only a popular kind of exercise, it's also a really important part of every culture. Nevertheless, there are some people that just won't dance. Even if their favorite song is playing, they're just that shy. This irrational fear of dancing is called chorophobia, but it can also be the fear of anything that has to do with dancing, not only the process itself. Neophobia, fear of the new. As a matter of fact, this is one of the nicest kinds of phobias, because it allows people to live their normal lives. Well, if they get stuck in time and do nothing that can bring something new, moving to another house or getting a new job or any kind of change in the usual routine can freak them out. Ablutophobia, fear of bathing. Ablutophobia is the name for the persistent, abnormal, and unwarranted fear of bathing, washing, or cleaning. No! Ablutophobia tends to be more common in children and women than in men, and it affects especially those who are very emotional. This phobia makes you feel dejected and lonelier. It might be triggered by an event from the past, linking bathing, washing, or cleaning to emotional trauma. Fortunately, it's one of the rarest kinds of phobia. Trichophobia, fear of hair. Trichophobia goes beyond the fear of seeing manky hair in the shower drain. It's a fear of hair altogether. Touching it, seeing it loose on the floor or on clothing. It's defined by a morbid disgust for loose strands. It's worth noting that those who suffer from this phobia cannot be called pet lovers, and it's obviously only the tip of the iceberg. Just imagine how sick they must feel by just looking at a hairbrush with hair in it, or how uneasy they feel seeing a single hair on someone's coat, or how they can't sleep because of a hair in a plate they saw earlier. Calogynophobia, fear of beautiful women. Beauty must be admired and aspired, but as it turns out, it can be overwhelming. There is a thing called calogynophobia, also known as venestrophobia, which is an unjustified fear of beautiful women. Most commonly, teenagers and men have this bizarre phobia, especially gay men. Chromatophobia, fear of money. Excessive fear of money is undoubtedly one of the weirdest phobias you've ever heard. While the world is running behind money, some run away from it instead. People with chromatophobia are defenseless to losing and mishandling money. And don't be confused, it's not that they're afraid of getting rich. There is an opinion that it's because of all the microbes on the banknotes, so they usually use credit cards instead. Peladophobia, fear of bald people. This is the opposite of trichophobia. If you feel anxiety standing by a bald person, then you can be one of these people suffering from it. But what can be scary about a bald person? Well, it might be triggered by something from childhood, or it might be inherited. Ergophobia, fear of working. This is probably the most convenient phobia on our list, because you could justify everything with your laziness, of course. But what if you have an officially recognized phobia called ergophobia? Right now, most of you people would probably like to go and tell everyone how you suffer from this disease, but believe me, you are in the wrong. As a matter of fact, this irrational fear goes way beyond the work itself. It could be also horror towards any activity at all, causing in the patient inability to do anything productive. And no matter how bizarre or funny it could seem, For those suffering from it, it isn't. If you can't manage it by yourself, you should resort to medical help, and don't let some stupid phobia ruin your life. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.